Actually, Gucci Mane was just robbed recently in they say it was in LA.
Person I used to be, I'm nowhere near that. Like,
ride fast car, count money, put that shit on, you know?
New footage just surfaced, and it shows Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty in a tense moment nobody saw coming. Everyone sensed there was tension between the OG and his former artist, but no one expected this wild clip to drop. Let's break down exactly what went down. Back in mid-January 2026, word hit the streets that Gucci Mane got hit in LA. Someone reportedly snatched his wedding ring and luxury watch. Sources are saying the people involved might have had connections to another big man crew, which makes things even messier. The whole situation apparently started after a meeting between Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty. The two linked up in LA to talk about Shysty's contract with 1017 Records. Pooh Shiesty wanted out of the deal, but Gucci wasn't on board with that move. Things got tense fast, and once the meeting wrapped, the streets say a group of guys pulled up on Gucci. Here's how the word around town describes it. Pooh Shiesty walked into that meeting with his team, ready to talk business. The energy got heavy real quick. People say the convo turned into a heated back and forth. After Gucci signed some papers, Shysty and his crew left the spot. Just minutes later, another group showed up, and that's when Gucci got his jewelry snatched, before the crew disappeared without a trace. Right now, the supposed connection between Pooh Shiesty and the crew that ran up on Gucci Mane is still just talk. Nothing's been confirmed. There's no actual footage of the alleged robbery, no official police reports have hit the public yet. But the timing?
Do you remember the moment where the breakthrough came, where you said, when I get out, I'm done with all this dumb shit? Was it a moment where you was going through it so much, or you got a revelation where you just like, this ain't it, man, I ain't with this shit.
The alarm clock came on,
yeah,
man.
Alarm clock.
I been knew that shit wasn't what's up though, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't. For that, man, I'm a free world type of nigga like that, you know? Ride fast car, count money, put that shit on, you know?
It's way too close to ignore. The meeting wrapped, Shysty left the spot, and then the robbery went down right after. A lot of people aren't calling that a coincidence, and the internet's been going wild trying to piece things together. Blogger Tasha K even dropped some shocking claims. She said Gucci Mane was allegedly held against his will by Pooh Shiesty until he signed papers that released him from his 1017 contract. Now, that Death Row Records 2.0 reference she mentioned, that's a heavy comparison. She was talking about how some people are linking this whole situation to the old school days of Suge Knight, a labor boss from the 90s who was rumored to use tough tactics in the music business. That comparison stirred the pot because of all the history behind it. Back in the day, there were wild stories about Suge Knight supposedly using intimidation to lock down deals. One of the most talked about ones involved Vanilla Ice. People still say Suge made him sign over his royalties while hanging from a balcony. Whether that's true or just legend, it became one of hip-hop's craziest stories. Now, fans are saying the way Shysty handled things feels a lot like how Suge used to move, and that's why this whole situation has everyone talking non-stop. The jewelry that got taken wasn't just any regular bling, it was major. Gucci's wedding ring alone was said to be worth over $200,000, and the watch, reportedly a Patek Philippe, valued at around $300,000. Some sources even claimed a total loss, including cash and other valuables, might have reached close to $2–3 million. That's a serious hit right there. Now, here's the thing.
And apparently Shysty was with some people and they made him sign it over. And then after they left, they say within minutes, a group of alleged, some gangbangers rolled in there and relieved Gucci Mane of some jewelry.
Gucci wasn't out there solo. He showed up to that meeting with his full team and professional security by his side. But according to the streets, the crew that rolled up on him was way more prepared and had the upper hand from the start. It all happened so fast that even Gucci's people couldn't stop it. What's strange is, this supposed robbery never made it into any public police reports. No official paperwork, no warrants, nothing with Pooh Shiesty's name tied to it, at least not out in the open. Yet, the story spread like wildfire across social media, blogs, and hip-hop news pages everywhere. Even without solid proof, the story had enough detail that a lot of fans believed it. The timeline, the meeting, the missing jewelry, it all seemed too lined up to be random. Still, not everyone was buying the hype. Comments online were split. Some called the story cap, saying there's no way anyone would try to run up on Gucci. One person even wrote, Ain't nobody bold enough to press Gucci like that. The idea was that he's too respected and too connected in the game to ever be caught slipping. Whether that alleged robbery really went down exactly as people say or not, one thing's for sure, it marked a total breakdown between Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty. Just a year earlier, Gucci had been standing up for Shysty, even speaking out in support of his release from federal custody. Now, the talk around the industry was that Shysty might have either played a part in or looked the other way on a major setup against his former mentor. That's a serious switch-up. Before everything fell apart, their relationship was solid, built on mentorship, opportunity, and loyalty. Gucci didn't just sign Pooh Shiesty to a deal with 1017 Records, he gave him a real shot at greatness. He backed his career, promoted his music, and made sure everyone knew Shysty was the next big thing for the label.
Wow, in there.
Yeah.
But do you feel as if though you're a totally different person?
I do. I feel like I done grown and matured. Like the person I was at 10 years ago, I'm not the same person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the person I used to be, I'm nowhere near that. Like I'm way more mature, I'm way nicer.
They were like family until the trust completely shattered. To really understand how deep this cut ran, you've got to look at what they had before it all blew up. Gucci Mane had invested his time, energy, and platform into betting on a young talent from Memphis, Tennessee, a city known for blending raw crunk energy with the hard-hitting trap sound Gucci had been shaping since the mid-2000s. When Gucci signed him in 2020, Pooh Shiesty, real name Latrell Williams Jr., was a hungry artist but street buzz, but no big numbers yet. Gucci saw the potential before the world did, taking a huge chance on someone untested in the mainstream. That gamble paid off in a major way. Once Shysty dropped Back in Blood with Lil Durk, it exploded everywhere. The track went multi-platinum and made Shysty one of the hottest names in rap overnight. Gucci looked like a genius for spotting the talent early. Pooh Shiesty's debut mixtape, Shysty Season, didn't just make noise, it took over the scene. The project pulled in major numbers and got love from both fans and critics. His signature ad-libs were all over social media. You couldn't scroll without hearing that inescapable sound. Pooh Shiesty wasn't just another name under 1017 Records. He was the brand's new face, the one Gucci Mane was counting on to carry the trap legacy into a new era. When success started rolling in, Gucci made sure to show love in a big way. After Shysty Season dropped and the numbers went crazy, Gucci gifted Pooh Shiesty a slime green Jeep Trackhawk, and that color meant something. Green had become part of 1017's identity, a bold sign of loyalty and belonging in Shysty's future.
The moment was caught on camera and shared all over the internet. Fans saw Gucci as the boss who truly looked out for his artist.
He was just robbed for his wedding ring and his watch. And they say Pooh Shiesty might allegedly have something to do with it, but they're not sure. But apparently him and Pooh Shiesty had a meeting in LA, and the meeting was over Pooh Shiesty trying to get off the 1017 label.
Not just with deals, but with real support. Their bond looked deeper than business. It felt like family. Gucci Mane had been through it all. The streets, the legal struggles, the battles with personal demons, but he came out the other side as a respected entrepreneur and hip-hop figure. He wanted to guide the next generation through the same pitfalls he'd already overcome. And in Pooh Shiesty, he found a perfect student. Young, driven, and raw with that street energy that made his music feel real. That kind of authenticity can't be faked. Pooh Shiesty's rise came to a sudden stop after a serious legal situation in Miami that completely threw off his momentum. The incident reportedly involved a deal gone wrong at a hotel, which led to firearm-related charges and major legal trouble. Things got complicated fast, and even though the system moved slowly, it was clear that his freedom was on the line. By 2021, Pooh Shiesty found himself facing federal charges that would keep him off the scene for years. Just like that, one of rap's fastest rising stars was forced to hit pause on everything. But during that rough stretch, Gucci Mane stayed solid. He didn't walk away when things got tough, and he didn't try to distance himself when the headlines got messy. Instead, Gucci publicly spoke out, using his voice to call for better conditions for Pooh Shiesty while he was locked up in 2022. Gucci claimed that Pooh Shiesty was being treated unfairly in federal custody, stuck in long lockdowns, and getting served terrible meals.
Then his wife posted receipts that he did pay for the funeral, but he also then asked for the chains back.
He didn't have to say a word, but he did anyway. Gucci used his platform to put pressure on the system and bring attention to what was happening behind those walls. What made this move powerful was that it had nothing to do with contracts or money. Pooh Shiesty wasn't bringing in any revenue at the time. Gucci's support came from loyalty, from that real bond they built over time. It showed that this wasn't just a label relationship, it was mentorship and respect on a deeper level. Pooh Shiesty ended up serving more than 4 years, from 2021 all the way through late 2025, before finally regaining his freedom. While the rap game kept evolving without him, the spotlight slowly shifted. New artists started rising, new sounds took over, and the massive buzz that Back in Blood once had began to fade as fresh hits took control of the charts. Shiesty's time away from the scene left an empty space, and plenty of rappers were quick to fill that gap. Through all that time, things between Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty seemed cool, at least in public. There wasn't any online drama, no subliminal posts, no talk of bad blood or contract tension. On the surface, everything looked solid. Gucci would even mention Pooh Shiesty in interviews every now and then, showing love and saying he believed Shysty would come home strong and reclaim his spot in the game. The story that fans saw was one of loyalty, patience, and family, a label standing by its artists through tough times. Then came October 2025, the big homecoming. When Pooh Shiesty finally regained his freedom, Gucci's reaction looked all love.
He's from Memphis. He's actually Pooh Shiesty's little cousin. So him and Pooh Shiesty came up together. When Big Scar died, Gucci was supposed to pay for the funeral, which they said that he didn't.
He posted a message online that said, "Time to shake the streets up. WAP proud of you." That post hit deep, using Gucci's own nickname, WAP, to make it personal, like a proud mentor welcoming back his star player. Everything looked perfect for a major comeback. Fans were ready, the label was buzzing, and it seemed like Pooh Shiesty was about to pick up right where he left off, repping 1017 and taking over again. But behind all the smiles and celebration, something had quietly changed. Those 4 years apart had left a mark, but looked like loyalty on the outside had actually built up unseen tension, cracks that nobody caught at first. The tension between Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty didn't just pop up overnight. It had roots stretching back months, maybe even years. That welcome home post Gucci made when he released him, fans noticed it mysteriously disappeared not long after it went up. That deletion set off instant speculation. People started asking, why would Gucci celebrate his artist's return, then delete the message right after? Something clearly wasn't sitting right. The obvious theory was that things went sour right after Shysty's release. Maybe a private conversation took place that didn't end well, or maybe Gucci learned something that made that warm post feel out of place. Whatever happened, it marked the first public sign that this reunion wasn't as smooth as it looked. But the real cracks in their relationship reportedly started earlier.
That turned into a whole online beef, a whole online orchestra, and Shysty, I guess, just wasn't really feeling the way he went about it.
With the tragic passing of Big Scar, another event that shook the entire 1017 Records family. That loss didn't just bring grief, it exposed deep disagreements about loyalty, respect, and what it truly means to hold down your people. Big Scar's passing became the turning point, the emotional wound that would eventually split everything apart. Many say that after that tragedy, nothing between Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty ever went back to the same. It was like a quiet storm slowly building toward the chaos that would erupt in January 2026. Big Scar, born Alexander Woods, was a rising star from Memphis and a proud member of 1017 Records. His music carried that raw Memphis street sound and a level of authenticity that made him stand out from the crowd. But what made this situation hit even harder was that Big Scar wasn't just another label mate, he was Pooh Shiesty's cousin. Big Scar and Pooh Shiesty came up side by side in Memphis, grinding through the same neighborhoods that would later shape their sound and inspire their lyrics. Their bond ran deep. This wasn't something built in the studio or signed into existence by a contract. It was family, both in blood and in struggle, long before money ever entered the picture. When Big Scar tragically passed away from an overdose, the entire 1017 circle was shaken to its core. The loss hit hard, especially for those closest to him. But as people tried to make sense of what happened, questions started to swirl about who was supposed to step up and handle what came next. With Gucci Mane being a label head and Pooh Shiesty being Scar's cousin, expectations were high sky. But when personal grief mixed with business responsibilities, tension started to rise fast, and that friction would soon become impossible to smooth out.
The biggest issue, according to several reports, centered around the funeral expenses. Word spread that Gucci Mane was expected to cover the costs of Big Scar's funeral.
Of course, Gucci Mane's like, hell no. And apparently it was like one of those Vanilla Ice Suge Knight situations where Pooh Shiesty pretty much walked in there and was like, yo, look, you gonna sign this shit. We gonna make sure you sign this shit.
Something that wouldn't have been unusual in the industry. Label heads often take care of those arrangements, especially when they promote their roster like family. And that's exactly what made this situation blow up. 1017 Records had always pushed an image of unity, loyalty, and family, but now those same values were being questioned in public. Social media chatter claimed Gucci didn't step in financially, and that rumor spread everywhere, from blogs to comment sections. People started accusing Gucci of turning his back on Big Scar's loved ones during their toughest moment, and the backlash was intense. The story of a wealthy label boss supposedly refusing to cover funeral costs for one of his artists, who also happened to be the cousin of his biggest star, spread like wildfire online. It sounded like betrayal at its worst, and people were quick to judge. But once the facts started coming out, the real story turned out to be a lot more layered than it first appeared.
Gucci Mane's wife, Keisha Kaur, stepped in and publicly posted receipts showing that they did pay for Big Scar's funeral expenses. The paperwork proved that Gucci and Keisha had handled the costs, shutting down the claims that he ignored his responsibilities. From a financial standpoint, Gucci had done what he was supposed to. He took care of business for his late artist. But even after that, the controversy didn't just fade away. What came next ended up turning a simple misunderstanding into a full-on rift. Multiple sources claimed that after the funeral, Gucci Mane asked for Big Scar's 107 chains to be returned. The pieces reportedly included 4 different chains he had gifted Scar while he was signed to the label. That request hit deep in the culture, because in hip-hop, asking for a chain back isn't just business, it's symbolic. To really understand why that move caused so much noise, you have to know what jewelry means in this world. Heavy chains in hip-hop aren't just flashy accessories. They represent respect, achievement, and connection.
But they're also saying that Shysty's trying to sign a Yo Gotti. There's a $10 million deal that's already been sitting.
When a label boss gifts an artist a chain, it's more than gold and diamonds. It's a mark of belonging. A stamp that says, you've made it, you're part of the family. So when Gucci reportedly wanted those chains returned, it wasn't just about material things. It struck at the heart of what those gifts stood for. When Gucci Mane first gifted Big Scar those 4 chains, it was more than just jewelry. It was a powerful message. Those pieces represented success, loyalty, and official membership in the 117 family. They symbolized that Scar had made it, that he was one of the chosen few carrying the brand's legacy. But after Big Scar's passing, Gucci reportedly asking for those chains back sent a completely different signal, especially to Scar's loved ones. To them, that move didn't feel like business, it felt personal. It made it seem like those chains weren't symbols of earned success, but loaned items that could be taken back once someone was gone. That hit hard, because in the culture, those chains stand for respect and belonging, not something to be repossessed. Pooh Shiesty's reaction to how Gucci handled his cousin's passing became the real turning point. At the time, Shysty was still behind bars and couldn't attend the funeral or be there for his family. So he only heard bits and pieces about what was happening through phone calls, messages, and word of mouth from people on the outside. And every new detail, whether it was accurate or exaggerated, shaped how he saw Gucci in the situation. Once those emotions built up, the tension started spilling into the public eye. Comments began popping up online, posts were dissected by fans, and screenshots started circulating all over social media. What might have stayed a private misunderstanding between a label head and his artist quickly became front-page content for blogs and entertainment outlets. At this point, reputations were at stake, and neither side could afford to back down without losing face. What had started as emotional tension was now spilling into business territory.
Actually, Gucci Mane was just robbed recently in, they say it was in LA. I know that, I don't know if you got to see the whole Gucci Mane Pooh Shiesty beef that's been going on.
And that's where things really got complicated. From the very beginning, The working relationship between Pooh Shiesty and 117 Records carried built-in pressure. Like most artist label deals in hip-hop, the contract looked fair at first, but started to feel restrictive once success actually hit. The same terms that once seemed like an opportunity began to feel more like a cage as the money and fame rolled in. When Pooh Shiesty first inked his deal with 117 in 2020, he was a raw, unproven artist straight out of Memphis. He had street buzz and undeniable talent, but no big fan base yet, no hits on the charts, and no guaranteed revenue stream. From Gucci Mane's side, signing Shysty was a business gamble, an investment in potential. Gucci covered advances, studio sessions, production, videos, and marketing, all with the hope that Shysty's music would connect with fans and bring real returns. Deals like that almost always lean toward the label, especially when the artist is still untested. The label takes the financial risk, so the contract terms often secure bigger percentages and longer commitments to make sure they get their investment back. But here's where the tension builds. When success finally arrives, the numbers don't always add up the way artists expect. Even when the hits start charting and the shows start selling out, the label takes its cut first, recouping everything it fronted before the artist really starts seeing the full rewards. So when Back in Blood blew up and Shysty season smashed expectations, Pooh Shiesty started realizing how much of his success was still tied to those early career terms. The deal that once felt like an opportunity for Pooh Shiesty started to feel like a straight-up trap once the money began rolling in. He was bringing in real revenue, streams, merch, influence, but the contract terms meant that 117 Records kept most of the profits. Pooh Shiesty had become one of the hottest rappers in the game, yet he wasn't getting paid anywhere near what his success seemed to deserve. This kind of tension has ended plenty of artist-label relationships in hip-hop over the years. It's practically part of the industry's history. What made this case even more surprising was Gucci Mane's role in it. He'd lived through this same struggle early in his own career, grinding hard, making hits, and still feeling trapped by the fine print of old contracts. So watching him become the one enforcing those same types of deals hit different. Once the tables turned, and Gucci went from artist to label boss, he started protecting the business with the same toughness that once frustrated him. From a business standpoint, it made sense. But from a personal one, it felt like betrayal to someone like Pooh Shiesty, who saw Gucci not just as a boss, but as a mentor and family figure. Then came another problem. Shysty's incarceration from 2021 to 2025 completely froze his career. He couldn't record, tour, or promote himself, yet the contract clock kept ticking. Depending on how the paperwork was written, those years didn't pause the deal, which meant Shysty might have still owed 117 new music and appearances once he got out, even though he couldn't work during that time. When Pooh Shiesty finally came home and realized he was still tied to the same contract that had limited him before, his frustration boiled over. After his release, Pooh Shiesty started speaking out, hinting that 117 Records was blocking his music and keeping him from dropping new tracks. He talked about feeling betrayed and restricted, like the label was holding his career hostage. Whether it was a legal contract issue or a calculated move to keep control over an unhappy artist, the outcome was the same. Pooh Shiesty couldn't move forward musically while still locked into his deal with 117. Then things got even messier. Word hit that other major labels were circling, trying to scoop him up, and one name stood out: Yo Gotti's CMG. Based right in Memphis, CMG represented everything familiar to Shysty: the city, the culture, and the energy that shaped him. And Yo Gotti wasn't just any label boss. He had built CMG into a powerhouse capable of going head-to-head with anyone in the industry.
The whispers about a potential $10 million offer from CMG had fans buzzing. It sounded like the kind of move that could reset Shysty's whole career. It was a chance at freedom, fresh energy, and a homegrown comeback story. But there was one massive problem. Pooh Shiesty was still legally tied to 1017. That meant he couldn't sign anything new unless Gucci Mane agreed to let him go. And Gucci? He wasn't about to hand over one of his most valuable artists to a competing label. From a business angle, Gucci's position made perfect sense.
No boss wants to lose a top artist to another team, especially one that's thriving in the same city. But for Shysty, that business decision felt deeply personal, like his own mentor was standing in the way of his next move. Adding to the tension, Gucci and Yo Gotti already had a complicated history. They weren't enemies, but there was definitely a mix of rivalry and respect between them. Gucci had even claimed before that he helped keep Pooh Shiesty clear of the long-running Memphis drama between Yo Gotti and the late Young Dolph, a conflict that had left scars on the city's music scene. Gucci Mane had always believed that signing Pooh Shiesty to 1017 Records helped protect him, keeping him out of the street conflicts that once shook Memphis. Back then, Gucci's goal was to give Pooh Shiesty a legitimate path forward, away from the danger tied to old rivalries. But years later, that same protection didn't apply anymore. Young Dolph had passed, the city had quieted down, and the threats that once surrounded Shysty weren't the same. So when Gucci refused to release Pooh Shiesty from his contract in 2026, it no longer looked like a move made out of care. It looked like a straight-up business decision. To many watching, it seemed like Gucci was holding on to one of his most valuable artists, even if that meant keeping Shysty from chasing new opportunities for himself. That tension came to a head during the now infamous meeting in Los Angeles, the one that reportedly happened just before the robbery rumors surfaced. That meeting was supposed to be about finding a peaceful solution, a negotiation that could let both sides move on clean. Pooh Shiesty wanted out of his deal to start fresh, while Gucci wanted to hold him to his obligations. But according to several sources, the talks went nowhere. The energy got heated fast, and Gucci allegedly made it clear that he wasn't signing off on anything that released Shysty from 1017. The standoff was total. Neither side was backing down, and both had too much pride and money on the line. Then came the wild part, the claim that after that failed meeting, Shysty and his team decided to make sure Gucci signed those papers by any means necessary. It was an extreme move, and the comparison to Suge Knight's old-school industry tactics started flying around for a reason. People began drawing parallels between this alleged confrontation and the roughest side of hip-hop's past, when business disagreements could turn explosive. Right after the alleged robbery, both Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty went quiet, strategically quiet, while everyone else online turned the situation into a storm of rumors. Neither side has confirmed exactly what went down, but fans and blogs have been connecting the dots non-stop. Gucci hasn't publicly said the robbery happened, but small moves like deleting that welcome home post made people believe something serious took place behind the scenes. Instead of speaking directly, Gucci has been sending messages in more subtle ways, through social media posts, through his circle, and through actions that have sparked what many are calling a loyalty war. People close to him have made it clear they're standing by their boss, while others have hinted that there's more to the story than what's being shown online. Pooh Shiesty, on the other hand, has stayed just as quiet when it comes to the specific allegations. He hasn't come out to deny or confirm any involvement in what supposedly happened, but he has been vocal about one thing: his frustration with 1017 Records. His public comments have focused on the blocked music, the broken trust, and how he feels his comeback was being sabotaged before it could even begin. That approach seems intentional, staying silent about the alleged incident while using his platform to explain his mindset without saying anything that could legally backfire. It's a smart move in a situation this messy. As for the legal side, things remain a mystery. No official police reports have been made public, no arrests have been announced, and no charges have been filed related to the supposed robbery. That silence leaves everyone wondering, did the incident not happen the way people think? Did Gucci decide to handle it privately, or are authorities working behind the scenes, keeping everything quiet for now? Every possible version of this story paints a completely different picture of what really happened and how things might end. One of the wildest rumors floating around claimed that Gucci Mane's wife, Keisha Kawar, allegedly reached out to Pooh Shiesty's parole officer to report a possible abduction situation. If that rumor ever were proven true, it would be a massive escalation, something that could seriously threaten Pooh Shiesty's freedom. After all, he was released from federal custody under strict conditions, and being linked to any kind of criminal activity would immediately violate him. But here's the thing, that claim has never been verified. No official paperwork, no public confirmation, and most importantly, Pooh Shiesty hasn't been taken back into custody. That alone tells us one of three things. Either no report was ever made, authorities looked into it and found nothing solid, or any ongoing investigation is being kept completely under wraps. People close to the situation have also pointed out something interesting. The timing doesn't add up. If Shysty had really been part of a crime that serious, with his parole conditions, law enforcement would have already made a move by now. His continued freedom suggests one of three possibilities. Either the story's been blown out of proportion, he kept enough distance from the alleged event to protect himself legally, or no formal complaint was ever filed to begin with. Right now, the streets are buzzing with theories, but the feds are paying attention too, and that's what keeps everyone on edge. No official moves have been made, but the silence is loud. To make things even more lead, talk is spread that certain Memphis street affiliates, including individuals connected to local groups, may have had some kind of involvement in what happened.
What's being talked about now goes way beyond just Pooh Shiesty and a few friends confronting Gucci Mane. The whispers suggest that people with street ties, individuals possibly connected to outside crews, might have had their own motives for getting involved. If that's true, this wasn't just a music disagreement, it was a situation charged with real danger, blurring the line between the business side of hip-hop and the politics of the streets. Adding more fuel to the fire, reports began circulating that Hernandez Gavin, the father of one of the men accused in the Young Dolph case, allegedly taunted Gucci on social media after the supposed robbery. That move instantly connected this story to the wider network of Memphis street tension, a web of rivalries and retaliation that shaped the city's music scene for years. That connection made things feel even darker. It suggested that what happened to Gucci Mane might not have been an isolated event, but part of a bigger cycle, one that ties back to long-standing conflicts, deep loyalty lines, and unspoken codes that go way beyond record deals. The fact that figures with those kinds of reputations were being mentioned in the same breath as this story showed how quickly the line between hip-hop and real-life danger can blur. For the industry, the situation raised serious questions about the way labels like 1017 operate. These brands build themselves on the mythology of family, the idea that the label boss is more than a businessman. He's a mentor, a protector, a leader. The artists are more than signees. They're family, tied by loyalty and shared struggle. That image is powerful. It helps attract new talent and keeps teams united through hard times. This family-first image that labels like 1017 promote makes for powerful storytelling. Fans love the idea of loyalty, mentorship, and shared success. But beneath that image lies a constant tension between emotional bonds and hard business realities. Labels are built to make profit, and while contracts might look fair when first signed, they can start feeling unfair once an artist blows up. That's when the weird family talk starts sounding more like business dressed up as loyalty. When artists finally see the money gaps and power dynamics for what they are, conflict is almost guaranteed. It's built into the system, and hip-hop history proves it time and time again. What makes this situation so deep is that Gucci Mane has lived on both sides of it. He started as an artist frustrated by label politics, fighting for ownership and respect. After prison, he built a new image for himself, one focused on growth, redemption, and giving others the opportunities he once wished for. But the current allegations about asking for Big Scar's chains back, blocking Pooh Shiesty's new music, and refusing to release him from his contract all clashed with that evolved image. If even part of those claims were true, it would paint a picture completely opposite of the mentor figure Gucci had worked hard to become. Meanwhile, Pooh Shiesty's own transformation was also clear after his time away. In interviews, he spoke with reflection about learning from the past, valuing peace, and being done with the kind of reckless energy that once surrounded him. He said he was focused on his money, his craft, and staying away from unnecessary drama. That's what makes this whole story so ironic. The streets expected chaos, but Shysty himself had been talking about leaving that lifestyle behind. Even while rumors spread that Pooh Shiesty had played a role in a setup and a forced contract signing, his public image told a completely different story, one of growth, focus, and wanting legitimate success. That clash between what he said he stood for and what he was being accused of doing showed a deeper contradiction that runs all through hip-hop culture. The industry demands realness, but that authenticity often pulls artists back toward the same street behavior they're trying to leave behind.
Gucci Mane's own story of transformation suddenly hit a new level of scrutiny, too. He'd spent years talking about change, about moving past the negativity, the chaos, and the violence that had shaped his early years. In interviews, he spoke about becoming a better man, someone who could stay positive no matter what came his way. But now, that same man who had reinvented himself as a mentor and businessman was allegedly targeted by one of the very people he helped elevate. The irony couldn't be heavier. If the claims were true, it was a test of everything Gucci had preached about growth and peace. How does someone who's worked to leave conflict behind react when that same energy circles back their way? How does optimism hold up when betrayal hits that close to home? The truth is, there's no simple answer. The community is divided. Fans, insiders, and fellow artists see the situation through different lenses. Some believe Gucci was a mentor who stood by his artist, but also a businessman protecting his investment. Others feel Pooh Shiesty had real reasons to be upset about his treatment, but may have chosen a dangerous route to make his point. And that's where things stand. A tangled web of loyalty, business, and betrayal that's got the whole hip-hop world talking. Whether you believe Gucci Mane was just protecting his label or think Pooh Shiesty had every right to one out, one thing's for sure. This story ain't over yet. The streets are still talking, the blogs are still posting, and the truth is still hiding somewhere in the middle. What do you think really went down between Gucci and Pooh Shiesty? Was it business gone bad or loyalty turned sour? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this situation has got everyone divided. If you made it this far, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next. Trust me, the next chapter in this story is gonna shake things up even more.